the November Hoboken Board of Education meeting. Ms. Good, can you please read the statement of compliance?
This meeting is being held in conformity to the Open Public Meeting Act, NJSA 10:4-6. Public proper notice of the meeting was published in the local papers on January 7, 2023, which was the annual notice. If any board member or member of the public in attendance believe that the meeting is in violation of the Open Public Meetings Act, the Hoboken Board of Education requests that they make a statement at this time. The board wishes to make those in attendance.
I'm asking you with courtesy, if you do the children under the Open Public Meeting Act legislation, could our voices be heard? Please, could you suspend the agenda after that? I'm just asking, I want to place on record. Thank you.
Okay. The board wishes to make those in attendance aware that this meeting is being recorded on video and will be broadcast by the board at a later date on CATV Channel 77 and FiOS Channel 46. The full meeting recording will also be made available on board docs, which can be accessed through the district homepage. The Hoboken Board of Education is committed to preserving the decorum of the public process and is mindful that we live in the electronic age of computers, cell phone, and other electronic communication devices. Nevertheless, we respectfully request that all meeting participants kindly silence their electronic devices during the course of the meeting, and if use of device is necessary, we ask that you please leave the meeting room to conduct personal business. I will not change the meeting. It will proceed as it proceeds every month. Ms. President?
Please rise for the pledge.
We're doing the Pledge of Allegiance right now. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We are not changing. We are not changing.
Can we take the roll call, please?
Ms. Catamatori. Here. Mr. Delator.
Here.
Mr. Grana.
Here.
Mrs. Kana.
Here.
Mr. Clutful.
Here.
Mrs. McGirt.
Here.
Ms. Norwood.
Here.
Ms. Takarian.
Here.
Ms. Angley.
Here.
You have a motion? A full board quorum? You're ready to go.
Thank you. Okay, so we're going to start the meeting with the recognition portion of, and I would like to turn the meeting over to Ms. Rodriguez with us.
Welcome to the student recognition portion of the meeting. We are excited to honor our students tonight and learn about their accomplishments and those that they will aim for in the future. I extend a heartfelt welcome to the members of our Board of Education, Superintendent Dr. Johnson, administrators, faculty, community, our students, and their special guests, their families. It is always such a joy to stand before you and introduce our amazing principals as they come up to the podium and share detailed information and anecdotes about the students being honored here tonight as October's Students of the Month. It is quite an accomplishment to be honored by your school and district communities. And if you are one of the students being honored here tonight, please don't ever forget this moment and let it inspire many more powerful moments. You are role models and peer mentors to the students in your classrooms and those you pass along in the hallways daily. Thank you for inspiring others. We are also very proud of each of you and can't wait to hear about your academic journey. As has been our process, we will begin with the Joseph F. Brand School and its principal, Principal Charles Bartlett. He will then introduce the Connors Vice Principal, Mr. Hamlin, and he will follow the same pattern, introducing our next presenters, Principals Shannon, Sorfine, and Pica Pietra of Wallace, Hoboken Middle, and Hoboken High School. Each will celebrate their school's selections and pause, of course, for a picture opportunity. Again, thank you for being with us here this evening, and with that, I would ask Principal Bartlett to join me at the podium.
She's
Thank you very much, Mrs. Rodriguez Gomez, and good evening to the Board of Education. And at this time, I would like to ask Gabriel Lieberman to join me at the podium. Congratulations to Gabriel Lieberman, the Joseph F. Brandt Elementary School Student of the Month for October 2023. Gabriel was nominated by his fourth grade teacher, Ms. Abrantes. He was nominated for his constant hard work, being a role model to his classmates, and his kindness and respect towards himself and others. Ms. Abrantes says she couldn't be more proud of Gabriel. He comes into class each day with a smile and positive attitude that is absolutely infectious. He is always willing to help his classmates and teachers. Gabriel has an energy and zest for life and an approach to learning that is unlike any other. He is personable, sweet, silly, curious, hardworking, and so kind and caring. She said having Gabriel in her class has been such a special experience. Gabriel is one of the students I enjoy talking to whenever I have a chance. Having known him from the time he was in kindergarten, having had the ability to watch him grow socially, emotionally, and academically, having had the opportunity to watch him take steps on his early life journey are wonderful things. He and I always seem to find ourselves in a conversation about Penn State. He's a huge fan, and I'm class of 2002. You think we're going to beat Rutgers this weekend? Not even going to be close. What do you think? What do you think about Coach Diaz and the defense? They're pretty good, right? Ms. Abrantes said there was no one like Gabriel. He is an asset to our classroom community. He is kind and silly, and he is always willing to help. He perseveres even when things get hard, and he is an inquisitive student who loves to research and find the answers. His resilience and ability to stay the course are a great example for his peers and classmates. He always wants to include his classmates in whatever activity he is working on. He never wants to leave anyone out. He is accepting, and he is always a comfort to students who might need it. If you're having a bad day, go talk to Gabriel, because he will talk to you and encourage you to turn your day around. He loves to joke around with his teachers and classmates and talk about sports. He is truly a bright spot in not only our classroom, but the school community as well. In addition to being a dedicated student and classmate, Gabriel is part of the Johns Hopkins CTY program, as well as the Brandt School Band. He is always engaged during the school day and loves to ask questions and solve problems. When not in school, Gabriel likes to play the drums and play chess. He also enjoys Taekwondo and being the goalie for his soccer team. In school, his favorite subjects are math and CTY. Besides being a big Penn State fan, some of his other favorite sports teams are JMU, the Jets, and the Yankees. He wants to attend Penn State when he gets older, and he wants to be a football player or a chef. He loves to listen to Guns N' Roses, Fall Out Boy, and Olivia Rodrigo. Gabriel said he was surprised that he earned the honor of School Student of the Month. He thought he would earn it for his grade level or a subject area, but did not expect to get the overall school honor. He went on to say, when he was told he would be honored here tonight, and Ms. Abrantes wants it to be abundantly clear she had nothing to do with this. When told he would be honored here tonight, Gabriel said, quote me on this, Ms. Abrantes is a very good teacher. Based on that, it is very easy to see why she highlighted Gabriel's ability to think of others and his overabundant kindness. Please join me in a round of applause for Gabriel Lieberman, the Brandt Elementary School Student of the Month for October 2023. At this time, I'd like to welcome to the podium the Vice Principal of Connors School, Mr. Jack Hamlin.
Thank you, Mr. Bartlett. At this time, I'd like to ask Paige Rosenfeld, the Connors Student of the Month, to join the room. We could not be more proud of Paige's growth, as she is so deserving of this award. Paige is a third grader in Miss Hall's homeroom class. Miss Hall shared that Paige is an exemplary student, friend, and peer. Miss Hall nominated Paige as the District Student of the Month because she's a role model that leads by example in homeroom 208. Paige shows integrity each day as she constantly is making the right choices even when no one is looking. Each day, she is following our classroom routines without needing reminders. Miss Hall can always count on her to set an example for her friends. One of Paige's peers explained, "She's a really responsible student. She always pushes in everyone's chairs before leaving the classroom, and it's really helpful. She also helps me a lot when we're in groups together." Academically, Paige has been working extremely hard to master third grade skills, such as race, short response strategy, and narrative writing. She comes to school each day ready to learn, asks questions, and makes connections. Paige is not afraid to make mistakes and learn from them. Miss Hall is so proud of her for her growth mindset. Miss Hall believes that Paige will be able to accomplish whatever she sets her mind to in this life because of her positive attitude and determination. Paige shared with Miss Hall that one day she wants to advance to level 7 in gymnastics, which is a challenging but achievable goal. Miss Hall is confident that Paige's strength of character will help her to be able to achieve that goal. We're so grateful to have Paige as a student at Connors. Not only has Paige been a role model and a hardworking student, her kind heart is her greatest gift. One of Paige's classmates shared, "I would describe Paige as a caring and lovable friend. She is really kind and always there for you when you need her." Paige, thank you for sharing your kindness with us. We're so proud of you. We can't wait to watch you continue to shine your light throughout the rest of your school year and your career at Connors Elementary. Paige, just like you're an incredible role model in your classroom, you're an incredible role model at Connors. You have become the poster child for reading. You have tremendous grit and you never give up. There was a time when you were younger that reading was not so much fun and felt a bit challenging. You are a true example that hard work, dedication, and effort pays off. When you were younger, you read every evening and over the summer and gave your full effort in class as well as with Ms. Cofrancesco to improve your skills. Your DRA level grew tremendously, and I know how you absolutely love reading now and that you read for enjoyment. I also want to give your parents a big shout out. Your parents love you so much and supported you every step of the way to help you succeed. My wish is for you to continue to never give up and hold on to your grit with any obstacle that comes your way. My second wish for you is that you should continue to hold on to your kind heart. Having a kind heart balanced with grit and determination will enable you to be successful with any goal that you set and make a positive difference in our world. We cannot be more proud of you. Can everyone please join me in a round of applause for Paige Rosenfeld, Connors Student of the Month. I'd now like to introduce the principal of Wallace Elementary School, Martin Shannon.
Ready? Okay. Good evening. We're here tonight to celebrate Nina Bird, our Wallace School Student of the Month. Mrs. Taglieri nominated Nina for this honor because of her work ethic in the classroom, amazing heartfelt efforts assisting other students both in the classroom and socially, and her overall wonderful disposition. Nina is an incredible asset to the classroom and the Wildcat community because she is able to empathize with her classmates. It is truly heartwarming to see how she lends herself to her friends and those in need. Additionally, Nina is incredibly well-rounded. She participates and contributes to the theater program and the band. Nina loves to play the violin. Another one of her personal hobbies is to take care of her pets, her hermit crabs and guinea pigs. With her free time, she loves to research animals and their habitats. Her favorite subject is math, so she will often practice math at home when she has free time. Sports. Well, what could I say? She loves soccer and football. She also loves to cut the rug listening to pop music. Although she is not familiar with any colleges just yet, she definitely knows that she wants to further her education and become a zoologist. Roaring at Wallace seems to come natural to Nina. This school year, she has shown exceptional effort, hard work, dedication, and perseverance. Yet, it is Nina's kind heart, helpful demeanor, and empathetic spirit that make her extraordinary. Let's hear it for Nina, our Wallace School Student of the Month. Okay, we're going to face Lori. This is yours. So very proud of you. Thank you. Good job. Next, I would like to welcome Principal Sorvin to the podium.
Good evening, everyone. Please welcome to the podium Hoboken Middle School Student of the Month for October, Yuval Segal. Yuval has been nominated for Student of the Month by Ms. Anderson, Ms. Donnelly, and Ms. Jetty. Yuval is described by his teachers as an exemplary student. He is intellectually curious, participates regularly, and intrinsically motivated. Ms. Donnelly shares that Yuval's contributions in the ELA classroom are insightful and on point. Yuval is admired by and thoughtful of his peers. He is always willing to help out a fellow Tiger. Yuval goes above and beyond on all his assignments. He is truly a pleasure to have in class. Ms. Quist describes Yuval as a student who keeps her on her toes. He is incredibly thoughtful about each of his problems that they approach, always looking for the best ways to understand what he is trying to achieve and open to different ways to get there. Ms. Anderson shared that Yuval is undeniably deserving of the Student of the Month. He strives for excellence in and out of the classroom, and his persistent dedication and aptitude for learning make him stand out. Ms. Fernandez has had the pleasure of having Yuval in both her 6th grade and 8th grade science classes. He can be counted on to be honest, responsible, and respectful. His willingness to work hard and actively participate does not go unnoticed. Ms. Jetty adds that Yuval is an outstanding student in French. Every single day he goes above and beyond, accepting every challenging enrichment activity that she presents him and putting his best effort into every task. He is a role model for his peers, yet he remains modest and unassuming. Yuval's good friends Leah and Jonathan echo these sentiments and say he's always willing to help his classmates with no questions asked. Jonathan and Leah would also like for everyone to know that Yuval is an avid Rubik's Cube solver and his fastest time is 6 seconds. Pretty good. Yuval is also a member of the Hoboken Middle School academic team, band, and National Junior Honor Society. Yuval's favorite subject is math and loves being challenged. Surprisingly, this is very surprising actually, this is Yuval's first time as Student of the Month at Hoboken Middle School and was really excited when I shared the news that he was selected. Outside school, Yuval enjoys reading fantasy fiction, playing the flute, and of course, solving the Rubik's Cube. With that said, before giving Yuval a well-deserved round of applause, I would like Yuval to share his talent with all of you. You ready? Okay, so Yuval's going to solve this Rubik's Cube for the board. Fully scrambled. That was about, well done, Yuval. That was about 12 seconds. I've seen him do it blindfolded. I've seen him do it with 2 at once. It's pretty amazing, so great job. Please help me. Please join me in one more round of applause for Hoboken Middle School Student of the Month, Yuval Segal. At this time, I would like to invite the principal of Hoboken High School, Robin Pietra.
Good evening. At this time, I'd like to welcome Hannah Morley, Hoboken High School's October Student of the Month. Hannah is a sophomore at Hoboken High School, top 5% of her class, challenges herself with AP and pre-AP coursework, and it seems to come quite easy. She is quiet, but a powerhouse. Her teachers have shared. She is a curious and conscientious learner. When needed, she is ready to take the lead in any activity. She works well within a team. She defends her ideas, but is also willing to make the necessary compromises to help her group succeed. Hannah is a careful listener. She considers the ideas of others and contributes thought-provoking comments and questions. Hannah is a pleasant and polite person, and she is a valued member of the classroom community. Others shared, Hannah is a dedicated student who works very hard to achieve academic success, but also to help advance the discussions and understanding of her classmates in both small and large group settings. She is defined as a leader. Her work is done with effort and thought, and her peers recognize this in her. Mr. LeBeg shared that it is a pleasure to have her in his AP Bio class. She participates actively in class every day. Her hand is always up and she is not afraid to answer the toughest of questions. Her strong work ethic and intelligence have earned her an A+ average for the marking period, and he's impressed with her work. I just described the ideal student, but Hannah is extremely gifted in the arts as well. Mr. Kinnear states that Hannah's continued presence in the theater department has been invaluable. She is dedicated, talented, and kind. On numerous occasions, Hannah has stepped up to the plate, understudying some of the lead roles in this year's musical. Without even having to ask, she enters in full character, knowing all the staging for the role she understudies. Simultaneously, she also knows all her own lines and staging 2 weeks before the show. She is always the first to lend the helping hand, assisting with much of the backstage prep. Mr. Stasiak says that Hannah is a leader in the band, learning difficult technical passages easily on her own and helping peers stay on time. She is also a standout in chorus, mastering challenging alto harmonies, finding her note in a sea of challenging chords. On top of all this, Hannah is mature beyond her years. She is considerate, generous, and has such unique gifts and talents, particularly her strong and dynamic voice. Mr. Kinnear, Mr. Stasiak, and Miss Miller are proud of all your accomplishments and contributions to the theater and music program. Lastly, if you are around over the weekend, you can come see Hannah shine in the production of Into the Woods. I wasn't quite sure she was going to be here tonight. It is Tech Week, but she is here. Hannah, we are extremely proud of all you do, and you're a shining example of a Red Wing.
Congratulations to all of our students recognized tonight. Keep up the great work, and Gabriel, we are. Next, we are going to go into committee reports. Ms. Good, do you have a business administrator's report tonight?
No, we do have We do have an additional bills list that was completed this evening. And also we do have an updated transportation list, or I should say a revised transportation list on the agenda.
Thank you. First, we'll start with curriculum. Ms. McGurk.
Good evening. The Curriculum Committee met virtually on November 8th. In attendance were Ms. Angley, Mr. Delatorre, Mr. Grania, Superintendent Dr. Johnson, and myself. The November meeting agenda includes 5 items, and we recommend all for approval. You will see assemblies and field trips on the agenda, and 2 items of note, which are dual enrollment agreements for summer of 2024 for students at Hoboken High School to take courses at NJIT, and also a program for the 2024-2025 school year. Non-agenda items that were discussed were upcoming programs covering financial literacy and the district's literacy efforts, including the family engagement days that have been funded by HPEF. So look for more of that coming in the new year, and that is my report for this evening. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we'll move on to facilities. Ms. Khanna.
Good evening. The Facilities Committee met on Wednesday, November 8th at 11 a.m. In attendance were Mr. Callagy, Dr. Johnson, Ms. Cadamatori, Ms. Norwood, Mr. Klepfel, and myself. There are 3 agenda items: approval of facilities request, the approval of the comprehensive maintenance plan for financial year 2024, and the approval of fire and safety drill reports. We recommend all for approval. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we'll move on to finance. Mr. Klepfel.
Thank you. Hello? Yeah, okay. Thank you. The Finance Committee met last Wednesday. Joining me were Ms. Good, Ms. Lopez, Ms. Angley, and Ms. Norwood. The committee reviewed all agenda items that were on the agenda at that time and recommend those for approval. A couple of last-minute additions Ms. Good just noted, and that I circulated with in my notes to the board earlier today. Those all seem in line. In addition, I would mention that the audit is well underway, the 2022-23 audit, and is scheduled to be completed by early December, I believe, submitted, and preliminary work has begun on the next school year, 2024-2025 budget. Thank you.
Thank you. Governance, Mr. Kirian.
Hi, good evening. The Governance and Personnel Committee met on Wednesday, November 8th. In attendance were Dr. Johnson, Ms. McGurk, Ms. Khanna, Ms. Cadamatori, and myself. The committee discussed all agenda items, and we recommend all for approval. As is typical throughout the school year, you will see a number of agenda items for appointments, resignations, leave requests, transfers of personnel. In tonight's agenda, this includes paraprofessionals, custodial staff, teachers, substitutes, as well as staff for athletics, co-curricular activities, the district fall festival, and passport to learning.
Thank you. And lastly, I'm so sorry. Go ahead.
A couple quick things to note. The approval of Living Lab student assistants for Hoboken Middle School. So we're excited to have 4 high school students join as part-time lab assistants in the middle school in the Living Lab. These students have been volunteering, and this will be an extension of that experience. We're excited to have them here at the middle school. You'll also see 2022-2023 New Jersey CUSAC results, deeming Hoboken Public School District high performing. We've seen that multiple years in a row now. I'm really proud of all that the district has undertaken to achieve that ranking. And the other item is there is a policy agenda item on the agenda for second reading. This is so Title I, Education Stability for Children in Foster Care. And that is all for this evening. Thank you.
Thank you. And lastly, wellness, Mr. Delatorre.
Yep. The Wellness Committee met on Wednesday, November 8th. In attendance were Dr. Johnson, Ms. Angley, Ms. McGurk, Mr. Gagnon, and I. There are no agenda items for approval. However, I would like to report the Cards and Carols program led by our Hoboken High School student government will be distributing gift cards to families in need this holiday season. We look forward to working together with our community in making this event a success. More info to come.
Okay, thank you. I don't have a report tonight other than I just wanted to say I hope everyone had a great few days last week during the NJEA Teachers Convention. I also wanted to recognize the Hoboken Middle School Theater Department for a fantastic production of The Descendants. It was really amazing to see the kids on stage having so much fun, and they put so much effort into that show. And I'm also looking forward to the high school production of Into the Woods this coming weekend. Moving on, we'll go to public comments on agenda items. And this is just a reminder before we open public comments. Over the years and most recently, the board has been asked why it does not prohibit or stop comments about school district employees from individuals who speak during the public comment portion of the meeting. The short answer is that the law prevents the board from censoring comments made about district personnel. The board does not condone, nor is the board a party to comments as such. However, just because a speaker may have the right to say what he or she feels, it does not absolve a speaker from liability for any defamatory comments that an employee may bring against the speaker. Should speakers say something that subjects them to a civil suit, the responsibility falls squarely on the speaker and not on the board. I also want to remind speakers of board policy. Please state your name, municipality of residence, and business affiliation, if any. Speakers are allowed 5 minutes, and Ms. Kadamatori will quietly motion with 30 seconds left. Please address all comments to the chair. Board policy states the board welcomes comments on matters of interest to the board, but this is not an opportunity for dialogue or debate between speakers and board members or the superintendent. With that being said, who is our first speaker?
Ms. Waiters?
I just want to let you know, I'll say 30 seconds when 30 seconds is left. So you won't have to look up for me waving or anything.
No disrespect to none of y'all. Patricia Waiters. For clarification purposes, every item on this agenda, these people in the audience are a little confused, so don't come, the statement you just read into the record, it sounds a little intimidating. When you want to mention lawsuits and how many minutes they could talk and try to silence them. We're here tonight for a very serious reason, okay?
Ms. Waiters, I just want to stop you.
Let me finish, don't interrupt me. I'm on the agenda items, ma'am, don't interrupt me. Now be professional, you're being recorded, okay? So you guys are elected for us, okay? So don't try to distract me, okay? Because you know where I'm going with this. I want each and every individual in here tonight to be respected. We all deserve respect. So don't read that into your little comments with a threatening or intimidating. You coming across that way, and these are their first time here, most of them. Okay, so don't sit there and shaking your boots, because this is what you're going to see. This is a beginning, because I'm going to take and forfeit everything y'all write on these agendas until we get social justice. Okay, so this is, we sticking to the agenda items, because all of this is recommended by the superintendent. We tired, we fed up, we here to make a statement. We not going away. This is just the beginning of a well-organized protest for each and every one of you that disrespected us. Each and every one of you, we being disrespected. And on the public portion, I will come back and explain to you, Ms. McKirk, and you, Mr. Clumpford, that when you go on social media, that's a way of communicating. Okay? So that's communicating too. So remain a little professional and keep your racist comments to yourself. Thank you.
I just want to be clear. What I did read was actually to protect the speaker, not to intimidate. I'm not trying to silence anyone. Everyone is entitled to speak, say whatever you want to bring to the board that is of interest to the board. But I'm not trying to silence anyone. That is absolutely for your protection.
Mr. Manuel Rivera?
Good evening, Madam President, Board, members of the public. Put this a little higher so I could speak a little more clearly. I do believe, and I'm assuming, and I'm aware that you are going to be obviously respectful to every member of the public, and you will listen to us. I have a few questions before. I know you're not going to answer, but let me know where I could find it in the portal. When there are resignations, and I see a few here, do you, the board or the district, try to have a supplemental person or personnel to cover that retiree or retiring person in whatever it is, because I think we have a couple people, couple teachers, and another personnel. The word doesn't come out of my mouth. As well as I would like to know, and I guess, and I assume that if a person goes on leave as well, you have a person who follows and backs that up. Then I would also like to ask the ordinance that you introduced, which was one you said facilities, which is the one that caught my eye. When you say you introduce something into the agenda in regards to facilities, where could I find the information as it pertains to individual buildings, a school, a complex? My concern, and my very important concern, is this building with the scaffolding. It's been on for quite a long time, and I keep asking both here and in the historical preservation, what is the status of fixing it and taking these horrible scaffolding down, because they make, first of all, uncomfortable, unsafe. At night is very dark in the corners, so it's important to, if I could find that, just let me know where, so I could help and let other people know. And in regards to the grants in the America Rescue Plan, if members of the public could know where in the portal can they find where exactly is the amount that is received, how is it being allocated to which departments and such, and again, congratulations for getting that. I always congratulate even in the city council, everywhere when we get grants, but it is important for members of the public to know where and how is that being allocated and what for, because it'll make them feel more comfortable. Again, it's just for transparency and for the public to know how the district is being administered, and it helps from transparency. So these are my questions. Again, if you could direct me privately, or if you could just tell me now, I will listen, and I will save my public comments for later. But I do appreciate you listening, and to myself and all the members of the public. Thank you, and good evening.
Very much.
That's it for speakers for the agenda.
Okay, so moving on to consent agenda, is there a motion?
Motion. Second.
Can we have the roll call, please?
Ms. Cadamatori?
Yes.
Mr. Delatorre?
Yes.
Mr. Khanna?
Yes.
Mr. Grana?
I abstain on 10.29 and 10.30, and I vote yes on the rest of the items.
10.29 and 10. What?
3-0.
3-0, thank you. Mr. Clutful?
Yes.
Ms. McGurk?
Yes.
Ms. Norwood?
I abstain on 10.29, 10.30, 11.06N, and yes on the rest.
Thank you. Ms. Takarian?
Yes.
Ms. Angley?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay, now we'll move on to public comments on agenda and non-agenda items.
Ms. Waiters?
Pat Waiters. I want to read into the record, someone posted last night on social media, a great letter by Aileen McCurk. Guys, that's Aileen McCurk. Support of the Moms Leading Process. They got a cat screaming, going crazy, and said, Patricia Waiters is a dangerous kitty, and she needs to be stopped. Keep that thought in mind when I say this. That sounds like a threat to me. Y'all tried everything under the sun. Like Ivy Soap, I still rise. I want to say this. I've been running 15 years. Y'all never seen this many people come out. And you know what? They not out here for Patricia Waiters. They out here for the downright bigotry and hate and racism that's lingering in the cracks of this district, and too afraid to come forward. I'm putting this out here. This election, I was 147 votes away from 3,000 votes. Do you think I'm gonna let 3,000 people down? I'm not. My fight has just begun. I'm not a loser. I'm not a loser. The people that put y'all there are losers because you refuse to bring diversity to this board. You refuse. And it's sad because the first thing y'all say is we not racist. My policy says this. My procedure said I could move the coaches if I want. The legislation says this. We all know y'all liars. You could tamper with legislation and be unethical and get away with it. That's why I continue. And for you guys to keep saying, I got a 7-year-old, 11-year-old, or 2-year-old that's in the district, all of them was once 7, 11, and 2. The people you see tonight, we was in the district. We sharing with you our experiences. So stop running around and saying, well, they calling us racist. Y'all don't have to open your mouth. Your actions speak volumes. It's sad that our kids graduate, some of them on a 3rd grade level, and y'all will not give them employment in this district. And then when you employ them, you manipulate them and they gotta walk around on eggshells still to wind up to be fired for no reason. It's sad that I'm the union president and you guys put out a hit, Mr. Callaghan. Put out a hit on me. Members of the public gotta know. A man got a $50,000 increase for going after Pat Waiters, but still I rise. And it hurts because it's not about me. It's about the people that I'm supposed to protect. It's about the people that I'm supposed to represent. I won the title. I'm the union president. And y'all said, oh, it's the HSCA that's holding us up. I have no contract. You got paras on that agenda tonight you hiring at $18,000. What about my paras that's already here that should have had gotten a raise? What about the people y'all fired because they so-called don't have boiler license? We got people working without boiler license. He worked 6 years without a boiler license. What's wrong with that picture? Discriminatory practices. It's sad, and most of them had to call me and say, well, Patricia, what should I say? Should I do this? I said, say what you feel. Stop protecting what other people's feelings. If we say something, who you gonna hurt? Because I learned in Hoboken, it hurts them more when you being called a racist than actually seeing the act within itself. So you proved something really good to me because I've been with Dr. Johnson. I shared some horrific stories about the moms from Hoboken. Nobody in there that looked like us is in it. I seen the PTA turn all white. Nobody that looked like us is in it. And you refuse to look the opposite way like this don't exist. These are experiences we sharing. I could go back with the Courtney Wicks, Judy Burrell, and the list go on. Vanessa Falco. People that worked in the same district that looked like me, that was treated unjust. So tonight, I'm wrapping it up right now, closing with this, and please believe me, you see I'm still here 20 years later. This is the start of a protest. I am asking that you respectfully step down, get out of those seats so we can see change. I'm asking you respectfully. So if I got to do the right way and go from the state and work my way down and put this in writing and have every Black Minister Alliance, every social group to come in Hoboken and help us, it's time for change. People that's been here 30 years neglecting and abusing their authority to bring pain to us, along with the other underlying conditions we got going on at home.
30 seconds.
Yeah, it hurt. The truth hurt. It don't set you free, ma'am. But you can give everybody else that 2 extra seconds when they stand here. I'm wrapping it up. You can run, but you will not hide. And I'm asking you again, consider it. They here for you. They here for a cry for help. With the blood on their hands already from the superintendent and Tim Callaghan. Let's see who helped. And I dare y'all to retaliate. It's on the record. Thank you.
Thank you.
Isaiah Blanks. Mr. Miller. Mr. Walker. Mr. name and address.
Excuse me, if each of you are gonna go, could you just state your name, where you live, and then I'll start for each person, I'll start the time.
Okay.
Okay?
My name is Kais Lopez. I'm from Hoboken, born and raised here. Played sports here my whole life. Been in the education system here. I'm here today on behalf of my cousin, Keon Walker. I can speak for all of us when I say that our experience at Hoboken High was like no other. Under the roof that he laid for us while he was left in charge. So what I think is that I feel like the more we stray away from the culture that built us, that made people like standing beside me from Jersey City, behind me, that made them come and play here, we're straying away from that culture. And I feel like the more we stray away from that culture, we diminish more and more as a system. So, for example, little things like coming out and alumni are no longer allowed to be on the sideline and coach the kids up and basically encourage them like we once were, like we had when we were younger. It started with that. And as time goes, I keep coming back to the games and I'm trying to, just get the same feel that I had when I was there. You want to come support your old team. But every time I come back, it's like we losing more and more of the culture. And nobody's more of the culture than Keon, in my opinion. Because he laid the foundation, he walked the walk, he talked the talk, and he came to try to pay it forward to the community. So, with that being said, I think that it should be that change, that subtle change was unjust, and I just feel like, we need to be better at game planning and coming together and strategizing instead of just quickly showing someone the door, showing someone this isn't gonna work, we don't need you anymore, because it's not fair to the relationships he built with us and the kids after us and the people that was looking forward to playing under him. So that's really all I had to say. Thank you.
I'm gonna say something. So my name is Marquise Roberts, graduated here 2016. So I'm a kid that's from Jersey City. I came from nothing. My parents put me in this school system to be a better person, to better myself. Came here, coaching staff, Tag, Shannon, and Surfing. I don't see no one else over there. So these guys taught me something that a part of life that's bigger than football. They always told me, what are you going to do after football? I came here, people understood me, but no one understood me, such as Keon. I'm a young black man from a poverty area. He taught me more than that. It's more than just Jersey City. You're not going to always live in poverty. It's going to be more than that. I graduated here. Every time I came back, what are you doing with yourself? I'm just working 9 to 5. What's your career? What are you going to do? Every time I walked in the locker room, he talked to these kids. It ain't about just football. It's about your career. What are you going to do after football? I go online, I look, it's colleges coming here. It's more colleges that was coming here with Keon than when I was here with Coach Tag. Not for nothing, around that time, it was a bigger, much of a white coaching staff. Black coaching staff came here that's from the projects, that's from the area, that know these kids that's from this projects. They know these kids, they watch these kids come up. They're changing the era for these kids. We didn't get looked at as much when we came here. As black kids, we don't get looked at as much. Keon came here and changed all of this around for all of us. So the fact is, there was losing seasons with the other coaches. It got overlooked. Oh, it's out the door. They're going to get it next year. It's going to get better. Now, if you look at our all-black coaching staff coming here, they have a few losing seasons. It's not going to change. You got to get them out. You got to look before that. Keon had winning seasons before that. He put a whole bunch of kids in colleges. We could put a list of colleges he put up. And these kids are in college and succeeding right now. Right now. I go on Instagram, I go online and I look,
all these little kids are up here, they're crying, they're hurt. These are the kids y'all supposed to care about. They're in y'all system, y'all supposed to care about them, but obviously y'all don't. They're crying and they're hurt because the person that they love so much that's teaching them everything about just life, not football, y'all throwing them out the door. Y'all gonna bring someone in here that don't even understand these kids. He's gonna come here and yell at them, tell them what to do and what not to do, but he don't even understand these kids. These kids living in buildings probably barely meals in their stomach. They don't understand that. He understood all that because he came from it, he built something. So just to let a guy go because, oh, you have 1 or 2 losing seasons, oh, we gotta get him out, that's not even fair, that's not justice. Not for nothing. Bless his soul, Coach Tag had a few losing seasons. Ain't no one ever said, oh, we gotta get this guy out of here. Just because his name, who he was, they never did that. If you be honest, his name came from Coach Keon, Tyrell Dodge, Anthony Henriquez. That's where his name came from. And that's the people that's putting this in these kids now. I watch these kids, maybe they weren't the best, but guess what? They're student athletes at the end of the day. It's not about just football. Look at what he's doing besides just football. These kids are more than just football. And then at the end of the day, y'all say y'all care about the system and the kids. These kids are hurt. Do y'all care about their feelings, for real? Or do y'all just care about, okay, this is not the guy we want to order. We're going to get someone of our kind in order. Maybe things can change. You got to look at the bigger picture. Care about the kids, not just the culture, which I know. Care about their culture as well. That's all I got to say.
Honori, Mr. Honori?
Good evening. My name is Ron Honori, and I was a former Hoboken High football player from 2018 to 2022. And this is my teammate right here. And we were, I believe, the second team under Coach Keon as a head coach. And the second I walked in here, and I'm from Jersey City. I was never in Hoboken. I never hung out with these guys when they was little. I never knew anybody like in the Hoboken area. And the second I walked into that building and I stepped on that field, I was immediately brought into a family. And a lot of that is because of Coach Keon. And I could talk about each and every coach that was wrongfully fired, but I'm going to speak solely on Keon because he's a reflection of all those coaches. And I want to say, firstly, like, Coach Keon, not like as previously stated, this man is not just about football. This guy is going to make sure that you're set before and after. Before I even met him, like, he really just brought me into open arms. He didn't even know my name yet. He just said, welcome to the team. I heard you're from Jersey City. He tried to get to know me the second he met me. And I appreciated that. From complete stranger to stranger, I appreciated that. And I promise you, with that being away from this program and you bringing complete strangers into this team, you're doing these boys a disservice. You're going to bring in a bunch of random people, like from wherever, whatever city, whatever. You're going to bring in all these coaches, and I promise you, the team, you're going to put these boys up for failure. They're going to be in an even worse situation. And it's not even worse because of the coaches. I'll tell you that. And I'm on me and him. We are one of the few people here that can say we're not only former football players, but we're former teammates of these kids. When these kids was freshmen, I played with them. I was in the same locker room with them. I was in the same meeting room with them. We were in the same situation. And I can tell you this, like, Keon has set us up to be great men. I'm in college right now. I go to Fairleigh Dickinson University. I'm a sophomore. I'm a sports management major, and I have an interest in coaching. And I can speak for some of my former teammates who I played with at Hoboken. Keon, who is also a firefighter for the city, he's given them the opportunity to take the fireman test after high school that aren't in college. And I could also say, just past summer, I had surgery for my right shoulder. I got hurt playing football. And this man still contacted me and offered me a staffing spot for the youth football camp, the first one that Hoboken had in a long time. And that was something that I wish I could have had when I was in those boys' situation. When I was a freshman, I was a sophomore. We didn't have that. And that's before COVID. I believe it was like a $10,000 check donated by the New York Giants. And that's Coach Keon who did that. And I know Principal Pick, she didn't get key on office in the school for no reason. Like, you don't just give someone an office and to give them a leadership in a program to lead these students. And he doesn't just work with the student athletes, he'll work with other students. Like, this man, if you take this man out of the program, you are significantly hurting this team. You are hurting this city. This man, to treat all these coaches the way that you guys are treating them, just kicking them out the door after all they've given back, dating all the way back to the 90s. Everything they've given back, you guys are doing a terrible service to them. That's all I gotta say.
Good evening, guys. It's Night John Freeman speaking.
What's his name?
Night John Freeman. First and foremost, I think we all know Mr. Walker was obviously a great coach, a great player, but he doesn't get his applause for being a person he is. During my injury, he told me many different things, and I knew it was going to be hard to come back after my sophomore year, and he always told me have that plan B. And I'm at that plan B now, and he's a fireman, and that's the path I'm on now. And yeah, he just, as a person, he's the best of the best. I don't think it gets any better for here in this city. He's the best role model. I don't admire that many men on this earth besides my dad, and he's more than likely one of them, 100%. It's an emotional topic for the city. It's a big loss for us, and I don't know how we can overcome something like this, but I think bringing him back would be the best thing for this community, for this town, and just for the program. And yeah, that's all I gotta say.
Hello, my name is Jason Janot. I'm a kid from Jersey City. I came to Hoboken freshman year, not knowing anybody as well. I came in with Ryan. I would like to say, like, all these coaches, like, I grew up with no father, so everything my mom did, so the coaches, they all built like a father figure for me, and it helped me with everything. Even when I was excelling in football, they would always tell me school first, keep going in school, school's gonna be good for you. The football is second. And it hurts that I can't see them coach anymore, especially Coach Ant, Coach George, and Coach Keon, because I grew up without a father, and they've been my father figure, especially Hoboken community. Like, I have Coach Jason, he coached the youth. He been like an uncle to me. My parents really don't like football, so they always like put their hand on the coaches, like, can you be careful with him? Like, they will talk to the coaches all the time and like, be careful with him, make sure he's doing good in school first, and then he could play football. I feel like as making them not the coaches anymore, the program's not gonna be the same, because they're not just doing one thing, they're doing two things. They're in school, making sure you're going to classes, make sure you're excelling, and being as great as you could be. So I feel as though that you should bring the coaching staff back.
My name is Zaire Miller. When I came into the school as a freshman, I didn't really know how it was gonna go for me, anything like that. I wasn't familiar with anything because I didn't go here from middle school. I'm from Jersey City, and as soon as I came in, because Keon and my dad have a relation, he took me under his wing. He kept me on my game with grades outside of school. Even outside, he'll drive by, make sure I'm okay, ask if I'm good, make sure I'm not doing anything I'm not supposed to do. And having a figure like that in my life, I have a dad. He hasn't missed a minute in my life, but having another figure like that really helped me out. And I put myself in some situation I shouldn't have, and he really helped me out with that. And I just feel like y'all firing him is I feel like y'all have no right to do that because it's putting a big hand in my future because I'm a junior this year. My freshman year I didn't play football. My sophomore year I got hurt second game of the season. So this is my first season of playing football. And next season is going to be my last season playing football. And I really want to make it out of here. I want to make myself something that I know I could be. And I feel like the chemistry I have with the whole coaching staff, that can't be replicated with anybody else that you guys put in next year. I feel like starting from new is like, it's just, I don't get how firing somebody that's been there for the amount of time that he's been there is going to make us better when you're bringing somebody that doesn't know any of our plays, our culture, what our team is like. I don't get how that's going to make anything better because, like, you bring in a whole new coach in, he won't know how to treat any of us, how practices work, anything like that. When we had somebody already there, and he hasn't always had losing seasons. He has winning seasons too, seasons where he's almost actually won it all. And I feel like just because he had 2 bad seasons, that doesn't give you any right to just get him out.
Hi, my name is Jada Holmes. I'm also a student athlete. I play for the football team. I'm about to be a senior next year. And even my freshman year, I got hurt playing freshman football. I broke my ankle and I missed half the school year. Coach Keon really helped me. He helped me get through that school year so I could play football next year and keep my grades high and like everything, all of that. And now that I'm a sophomore season I played, I fought through injuries, and even junior season I'm hurt again. But I think firing Keon, that's gonna really mess me up. After all, Coach Keon and all his coaching staff helped me throughout my high school career. And no, I can't talk. I'll fall.
That's another thing I wanted to talk about too. I forgot about that. We did have 2 losing seasons, 3 in a row where we didn't win that many games. But I feel like nobody shines light on the situation that we were put in and with the players that we were put in because you guys don't allow out of city kids to come in anymore. This is Jayon. He's probably scared to speak, but he's a freshman. He's 14 years old. He just came into high school, and Jayon never got off the field. Jayon never complained. Jayon never cried. Jayon never quit, and Jayon went hard every time. He ran the ball. He caught the ball. He returned the ball. He did everything on the field. And for a kid to go out like that and put in all the hard work he puts in, even if he doesn't get the best result, I feel like firing a coach because he doesn't have the utility and tools to actually win games, rather than letting him build up chemistry with kids like Jayon and get it to that point where he could bring back what Hoboken was like, which was him doing that, making Hoboken great. I feel like that's wrong, you guys too.
Vanetta Rivera.
Hi, everyone. My name is Vanetta Rivera. My son is Zaire Miller. He just got up and spoke. He's a junior athlete here. I'm trying to calm down. I'm a little bit nervous. So my son is Zaire Miller. My daughter's prospective 9th grade student for next year. I just want to put on a record that I had an impromptu football meeting on 10/27/23 at Hoboken High School, in which another parent recorded. I did post it to my social media since when it went viral, and I was told by a few of your educators that my kids would be targeted and I should take it down. So I just want to put that on the record so everyone here hears that. One of my major concerns that I want to address tonight is issues with your orthopedic surgeon, which I also brought up in that meeting. My last email that was sent to Miss Johnson, Spangler, Mrs. Pick, was dated 9/25/22. Since then, I have not heard back from anybody. I can resend you that email as well if you need it. At the meeting, I also brought up the issues again, which was on 10/27/23 about the doctor, how he tried to have my son go into surgery without the proper clearance. His hematologist called here. I sent screenshots, emails, other parents' complaints about your orthopedic surgeon from when Mr. England was here. Mrs. Pick and Mr. Baker told me at that meeting they would look into it and get back to me. No one has gotten back to me still. It's been a year and 41 days. And that surgeon is still on your payroll. So it's a major concern, not only for me, but for other parents. So I wanted to bring that up first. That was like my major concern. Another concern that I have is I want to know what the duties are of your academic support administrator, Francis Benway. My son had been involved in things that he probably shouldn't have been outside of school. Like he stated, Keon is the one who got him on the right path. Francis Benway went out of his way to contact parents that are not a part of the Hoboken Board of Education to give negative advice on what they should do legally with my son, to have him removed from your school choice program when as far as telling the parent to press charges. He calls himself the athletic director and a coach, and I just want to speak as an educator because I'm an educator myself. I feel like that is not the role of an educator. If Zaire is his student, he should have addressed his concerns with me and maybe seek ways to help my son be on a better athletic path since he is in Hoboken High School and under his care. Thirdly, I would like to speak about the termination of head coach Keon Walker. I would like to thank Keon for not only being a great coach inside school, but outside school. Thank you. I'm so thankful for him that he always contacted me. Regardless if it was a low grade or Zaire was going to show up to practice late and he was concerned about his whereabouts, he always kept the line of communication open. Zaire always made a funny comment that they could be in class and Hoboken High School has the little glass windows on the doors, and as soon as someone seen eyes, they call Keon Batman. So they would be like, oh my God, it's Keon. And right away they knew, put your pen to paper and like get to working. So like Keon was not only involved in school, but like outside of school. And I always feel so much more comfortable that he is Zaire's coach because I'm like, all right, I know that he's going to be okay. He would text me on the weekend, oh, Zaire was at the feast, did you know? And Zaire's here. He's just like always, like Zaire says, he has a father that's very involved, but he's also a father figure. What upsets me is how is it not obvious to everybody here? How is that not obvious to everybody here? What a dramatic change that this is going to make removing him. This is a disappointing lived experience for the whole community. It's like, what kind of message is being sent to our kids? When they had their meeting with the administration at Hoboken High School, and they told the vice principal and principals and Mr. Baker that was there, this is why kids from Hoboken are not attending Hoboken High School no more. They are going to other schools outside of district. They were then sent back with the vice principal saying, well, then transfer out. So what kind of message is it being sent that when they are feeling a type of way and they want to address their concerns, no one wants to hear it? I also feel like it's just like telling the coaches, like winning is the most important thing, but then you're telling our kids they're not valued unless they produce winning results. I also want to say to the board members that we emailed, which is like everybody up here sitting, I think it would have been common courtesy to at least respond back. Yes, I received your email. I don't have the answers, but I received your email. It seems like nobody up here can be in communication unless it's about a political vote, because that's when I receive emails back. I would just like to ask to look further into the termination of Keon. It's in my opinion that Jack Baker has a history of wrongfully terminating alumni coaches. I know for a fact another alumni coach that he terminated who gave years and countless hours and times to build the programs. Last year, there were alumni coaches terminated without Baker ever even supervising these coaches or having a single face-to-face sit-down. He didn't take any input, just as now, from the parents, the kids that helped build this program, stakeholders, anybody.
Sorry, your time is up.
Lastly, I just want to say that it's unfair. It's unfair.
Excuse me, I'm sorry, go ahead.
It was 5 minutes, 14 seconds. Everybody has 5 minutes. We don't, this is not, this is not a back and forth. We're listening to everything everybody says.
Can you state your name, please?
Please go ahead.
Melissa Perez.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you. What's your name? What is your name, ma'am?
Melissa Perez, and that's my son right there, Jayon Walker. Well, good evening. So Hoboken is always trying to create a tradition, right? We get the St. Anne's fees, that's a tradition. Baseball is supposed to be a tradition as well. But what about football? As an alumni, football was the word. Everyone wanted to attend Hoboken High School to play football. But why did that tradition die out? Why, when we enter the field, we don't get that, wow, this is Hoboken High School field. There's no banners around, nothing that symbolizes Hoboken. My son told me when he entered the weight room, there was nothing. Old weights from the 1990s, dumbbells that are bent, nothing on the walls. He took a shower several times, water would flood all over. The weight room is just a plain Jane room. Yesterday I read an email from you, Ms. Johnson, that stated Planet Fitness awarded the high school $10,000 that can be used for the equipment or the weight room. Where will that money be allocated? And evident, the football room needs it. I know for sure those coaches asked for better equipment, asked for walls to be painted, wanted motivational quotes hanging on the walls. We need more for our kids. We demand more for our kids. Those coaches knew exactly what our kids needed to be successful. We as parents and our kids are making a stand today. We pick who we want leading our children. And without them, you guys don't have no season at all. That's it.
Hi, my name is Michelle Hutchison Bruno. My son is 14, he's a freshman.
Excuse me, what's your last name?
Michelle Hutchison Bruno.
Thank you.
My son's 14, he is a freshman. Born and raised in Hoboken, played for Hoboken Rec. He had the opportunity to go to St. Peter's Prep, but I decided to keep him here. Sorry, I'm a little emotional. I decided to keep him here because I wanted him to have a better opportunity. I wanted him to have a better opportunity to give him more than what I had as a kid. And I can stand here before you and say that Keon has done that for him. He has changed him, not only at football, but academically. He's more focused, he's more driven, he wants to do more. He not only participates in the football, he's in wrestling, he's in baseball. He wants to do more for his community. He does soup kitchen, and he does a lot. But for hearing that his coaches were fired, that devastated him. And not only because the coaches were fired, because he felt like we always tell our kids that, they have to be advocates for themselves, right? We tell them that they have to stand up for what they believe in. And the one time that they were able to stand up and speak their minds, nobody wanted to hear them. Nobody listened to them. The children were upset, yes. They might have been disrespectful, but you have to understand, the way they found out was through social media. They weren't given a chance to be sat down and talked to respectfully and told what was happening. And instead of them firing Keon the way they fired him, they could have given him another chance, especially because most of the kids that played this season were 14. 14. My son is 14. He's going up against seniors, 18, 19 years old, that are going into college. So he's going up against technically grown men. Never cried, never complained, went to every game. Even when he was sick with bronchitis for 2 weeks, he still begged me, Mom, can I please go? I'm like, no, you can't go. But what I'm here to say is I really honestly want y'all to reconsider. He brings a lot to the table. It's not just about him being a good coach. He brings opportunity to our kids that most of us can never reach or obtain. He brings our kids to HBCU colleges. And yes, any coach can bring the kids to HBCU colleges, but they will not have the experience that they will experience unless they were Keon Walker, someone who's like them. that could help them understand what they're going through and help them navigate through the system the way they need to be navigated. And I know my words are all over because I'm a little nervous, but I really honestly want y'all to reconsider and hear us today. I know there's a lot of emotions going on and there's a lot of other things going on, but I'm a part of this community. I work hard. My husband is a veteran. He works hard. We're not able to go to every game, but we have other parents that support and make sure our child needs what he needs. Keon has done what he needs to do for these kids. He's taken money out of his own pocket to buy these kids uniforms. Buy them food. That's something that should be coming from the board. That's something that I work hard for. They shouldn't have to be asking him to come out of his pocket to pay for kids, for brunches for the kids, lunches for the kids, because they want to feed them granola bars. That's unacceptable. These kids out there for 8 hours a day plus sometimes. And if they need more help from the parents, then fine, so be it. But there needs to be a stronger communication between us and the board. It needs to be a stronger communication between us and the school. There is none. They need to set up something. I don't know if it is by grade level, if they should choose one parent from every grade level to have that. So instead of having everybody at one time come up and speak, maybe have one parent from every grade level. So this way, it could be a clear understanding and there's not so much chaos. Do you have anything to say? So with that, I'm going to end it, but I just want you guys to really hear us and consider everything that we said today, that it's not just about him being a good coach, it's more than that for us. Some of these kids, don't have father figures, or do have father figures, but they're working and can't be there for them every day, and he's that second father figure for them. He's from the community. He gives back to the community, not just to the football team. He does give back. He's done drives, giveaways, for not just for our football team, but to the community. He's a firefighter from this community.
Thank you, that's fine.
And I know you guys don't understand what D1 is, but he is the #1 in Syracuse history to ever be a safety. And that might not mean a lot to y'all, but that's a lot to us. No one ever could fill his shoes.
Spencer Jones? No? Crystal Serrano? Crystal Serrano?
Stop signing stuff.
One second, let me read from the list first. Manuel Rivera? Okay, sir, what's your name, please?
My name is Jason Blanks. So, let's go. So, my name is Jason Blanks. I coach the youth football program, the 9 and 10-year-olds. So, I'm just here based on because Keon believed in my boys. He believed in my oldest, who now attends Rowan University, junior, just finished the junior year. And he started him as a sophomore, quarterback, and then when his shoulder was down, he knew that it was a plan B. He said, listen, I know your shoulder is done, you might not be able to play quarterback again, but I'm gonna put you on that defense. And now, since he been in Rowan, he started as a freshman at corner. They moved him to safety, so he's a 3-year starter at Rowan University. He just finished his season. Then to go now to my youngest, Isaiah Blanks. He believed in him as a freshman. And that right there meant so much to me because he was going up against a senior, and I tell him all the time, nothing's never given, you always gotta earn it. You gotta earn everything. And he fought, so now his sophomore year, now like I said, let me go back, let me wind it back. As a freshman, he started quarterback. This is sophomore year. So now you got a sophomore running your team, going against 19-year-olds every week. Every week. They had 3 seniors on the team. 3 seniors on the team. Maybe 6, 7 juniors. Rest freshmen and sophomores. You want them to compete. You want them to compete and win. How you supposed to do that? But what he did was he taught them, we don't lose here. We don't lose here. We learn. We learn. So now when they become juniors and seniors, you're going to see the difference. But why change now? Because that's why you want the new ones in, so that way, oh, look what they did for the program. They didn't do that. Keon started that. Keon started that. You can't sit here and say that, oh, they're going to change the program. Keon molded that. He molded that. And that's all I want to say. I ain't got nothing to say. I mean, everybody can say they can do everything. But until you there, and what hurts us the most, not saying it's you guys up there, but there's people in this town that sit there and tell these kids to go elsewhere instead of staying here. You sit there and since you 5 years old, you go up, break bones, shed bones, tears, everything, all the way up. And then you go to high school, to a different high school. And that's what hurts the program, is the people in this town that sit there and they shit, I'm sorry for cursing, they shit on this program because, oh, they see better. Yeah, they see, it's not everything is always, the grass, like you say, the grass ain't always green on the other side. Yeah, you might, like there's guys up there, I'm not calling nobody out. There's guys up there, yeah, Union City got their first one. But guess what? Those kids that was up there, they rode the pond. They rode the pond where they could have came down here and helped us. But this is what happens when you got the community here bashing everybody instead of just sitting here and everybody just staying together like we're supposed to. Hoboken born and raised.
We're done. We don't have any more people. There's no more. Yeah.
Hello, my name is Tariq Miller. My son is Zaire Miller. I just want to say really quickly, I want to touch on the termination of Keon. Probably repeating a lot of what he heard already. But, let me see. I really need the board to be held accountable if this is finalized for letting one of the letting go of one of the only black minority coaches you have in the whole whole Board of Education. The high school's about 75% minorities, I would say, just estimated. Maybe you have the numbers. So why doesn't your staff match that? Or your coaches? Basketball, baseball, that doesn't match it. Okay, hold up. Lost my place. Who's in charge of doing the hiring? Can you please let us know that? Also, I would like to know why is it that Keon's the only one thinking of the minority children? He took all the kids that look like me on a whole tour of HBCU. My son was so excited. Never seen a whole bunch of black kids like him in college. So excited. That was the first time he ever seen that. Keon told him the reason why I'm doing that because when I first went to college, everybody know he went to Syracuse. He was intimidated because when he went there, nobody looked like him. That's the reason why he took my son there. That's the reason why he took everybody else there. He wanted to let them know. Listen, I want to let y'all know that y'all could be successful seeing yourself. So that's really all I got to say. It's just sad that this has to happen this way, and we need more representation of ourselves. I don't see it up here either. No representation.
I'm Louis Negron.
What's your name again, honey?
Louis Negron. Louis Negron. Can I ask you a question? Have any of y'all ever won a state championship in any sport in high school? Because it's not easy. Why are you laughing? It's funny. Because you never won a state championship. I could tell. So I'm telling you, you could ask Shannon. Shannon was our coach. Coach Shannon, he was our coach. If we had to share the field with the band, the soccer team, the lacrosse team, the track team, because when we was here, we had soccer, we had lacrosse, we had all of that, but nobody touched the football field while the football team was here. Because Coach Tag name rings bells, but he don't look like Keon. Once Keon came, the soccer team has, oh, you have to share the field with the soccer team. Why does the band need the football field? That makes no sense. Why does a band need a football field? The lacrosse team, there's 7 soccer fields in Hoboken. Why can't they use that? Why can't they use the project field like they used to do when we was here? And another thing, he got fired because he wasn't winning. I went to Hoboken, I'm from Jersey City. I went to Hoboken from 2012 to 2016. I won 3 state championships. We had sleds, we had brand new helmets, jerseys, shoulder pads, cleats. If we wanted gloves next week for a new game, we'll get gloves, brand new gloves next week. Keon kids don't have that. I try to come down and help the kids, the linemen, because I played lineman. They don't have a sled. You know how hard it is to coach a team, a line with no sled? You want them to hit each other from Monday to Thursday and then go out and play another team at full speed? It's impossible. It's impossible. Your body is going to break down. So, and Keon did a football clinic. I was a volunteer. The New York Giants gave him a $10,000 check. You couldn't buy one. Where did the money go? Where does $10,000 go? You can't buy a sled. They've been using football since I was here. The same football since I was here. That's the quarterback. Ask the quarterback how hard it is to throw a ball that's been here for, I graduated, 7 years ago? There's no grip. So if y'all don't fund the coach, how do you expect him to win? That's all I got to say.
Are there any other speakers?
Good evening, everyone. My name's Angel Melendez, currently residing in Union City. I did not intend to speak tonight. I just came in support and solidarity of the coaches and the parents and student athletes here, but I feel like I would have regrets if I didn't share my story. So I'm Hoboken born and raised. I attended Connors Primary School, Demorest Middle School, Hoboken High School. I was a 3-sport athlete, played sports all year round. I played under Sean Colmer, Buddy Matthews, Mike Kazaza, graduated class of 2004. I went on to get my bachelor's in physical education and health from Montclair State University. I taught elementary PE for 7 years. At that point, I went to St. Peter's University, obtained my master's in educational leadership. I'm currently serving in a role as vice principal at a charter school in Jersey City. I also serve as a school safety specialist, anti-bullying coordinator. I run a food pantry out of my school, and also am the head of a mentoring program for students. I coached 5 years JV boys basketball here in Hoboken High School under Sean Colmer. Everything was great. You can speak to Buddy Matthews, Derek England, Sean Colmer, anybody about my character and what I brought to the program. At the conclusion of my 5 years, the athletic director at the time, Derek England, there was a vacancy in the girls varsity basketball coaching position that was actually vacated by Ryan Sorafine, who, by the way, did a great job with the program, was a great coach. But at that point, no one wanted to take over the program. There were no coaches that were interested in taking over the girls varsity program. They had lost what many people were saying was all of their talent, and no one just kind of wanted to take that on. I was essentially pleaded with to take the position and leave the JV team to coach the girls varsity team. And that was on a 2 weeks notice before the season started. And so I took the job, 1 senior, tons of underclassmen, not a lot of talent, but that's what it wasn't about. I was told that wins were going to be hard to come by, but they wanted to change the culture and build the program back up. I've been coaching in Hoboken for 15 years ago is when I started with Biddy basketball. Some of the parents here, I've coached their kids, their cousins, their children. I've graduated with some of the parents sitting here today. I started coaching in 2009, Hoboken Recreation. Still coaching today in Jersey City. My issue is that going into my 3rd year, so I had my first year with varsity. Everyone said we might not win any games. We won 7 games. Still was a losing season, but again, it was my first year, 2 weeks notice, only 1 senior on the team. Next year was COVID season. We were playing with masks. I had barely 8 players on my roster. 3 of them were freshmen with hardly any basketball experience. We didn't win any games. But again, it was a 10-game season, playing with masks, very little to work with. The conclusion of that season, Derek England stepped down and Mr. Jack Baker took over the position. I was given verbal confirmation that I was going to be the coach that season for the 3rd season as the girls varsity coach. I was running conditioning sessions in the summer at the Hoboken High School gym, unpaid. I worked all year round with the basketball programs for all the 7 years I've been there. You name it, summer, fall, I was there. And for some reason, weeks later, I was terminated from my position. I was never supervised by Jack Baker, never had a sit-down meeting, there was no conversations, and I find it impossible that Mr. Baker would have, or anyone would have sought out, information from any stakeholders, parents, former players, coaches, coaches in the program. I actually played under Sean Comer. My freshman year at Hoboken High School was Coach Sean Comer's first year coaching in Hoboken. And years later, he saw what I was doing with the Hoboken Rec program, and he invited me in to be one of his assistant coaches. And so, I don't wish ill will on anyone. I don't want to see anyone get fired, anyone from administration, athletic directors, nothing like that. My whole point of standing up here and sharing that story is that, you had a coach in me that is an alumni, born and raised in Hoboken, has been coaching for years, loves what he does, working with kids, is bringing so much to the table to offer these student athletes, and it just boggled my mind at the way that I was released from my position.
30 seconds.
And so what I'd like to end with is I just ask you all to think about the message that's being sent to our student athletes about the value of winning over the value of their growth as humans. So please think about that and consider that. And look, I know, I've offered to come back and coach if an opportunity presented itself. I've never heard back. And I understand that speaking here today may take that opportunity away from me in the future, but I felt like if I didn't speak, I would be doing a disservice to all the student athletes and everyone that comes from the city that I've been born and raised in.
That's time.
Does anyone else wish to speak? Anyone? Thank you to all the speakers. Manny?
Manuel Rivera Soler, Hoboken. Thank you, Madam President, for allowing me to speak. I was waiting for the rest of the speakers, the members of the public, to express themselves, their concerns, and were very, very, very potent, very powerful. They all spoke from their heart, and I'm sitting back there and I had my notes for this evening. They were all changed because I would like to echo some of the sentiments of the people who were speaking this evening, because I believe the takeaway should be there is a failure of communication, a failure to let members of the public know the community that's the backbone of the athletic department, because they are the ones that come out, they are the ones that help the coaches, they are the ones that push their students, their children to come out and to invest themselves in the programs. But if they are overlooked, if they feel like they're just being second-class citizens, then it does not help our district. It shows a lack of empathy, and you need, I'm not trying to be the ogre here, but you have to have more communication with the members of the public and the community, because if you do not, you lose trust. And you are the people that they're looking for, that trust, because they don't see the diversity. So you have to show them that it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter the color of your skin, your ethnic background, your heritage, your religion, your position, how athletic you are, how not athletic. It matters that we are a community and we must feel that we are all equal, that we all matter. So the reason I stand to speak at the end is so that you can know and understand that the takeaway has to be more communication, better communication, and to listen. If there is someone that they have trust in the community, do not take this person away from them, because then they again feel less represented. So help them out. Maybe in this instance, I don't know the particulars of Coach Walker, but maybe someone could explain it to us better. Maybe someone could let them know that this was the way because we're going to move forward with this. Let them be part of the process. And that is what I want to say this evening, and I want to thank you. You listen to them politely, but that's not the point. The point is action. Let them feel that they were heard. And I thank you again. God bless you. God bless the district, and God bless the students who came out tonight and spoke, because that was a beautiful thing to see. And I encourage them to come back. I encourage them to go to the city council meetings. I encourage them to write letters and let their opinions be heard, so that you could all have it in writing, and that way you could send it up the chain of command. So thank you very much.
As I mentioned before, the public comment section is not an opportunity for dialogue. So I thank you all for coming. We heard everything you said. We appreciate you sharing your stories and your feelings. And like I said, this isn't a two-way dialogue, but we appreciate you coming and sharing your feelings with us.
So now tonight, you also, this young lady said a year, the superintendent did not answer her back. So we just want to rest assured that this board is held accountable, and you answered them back.
Ms. Waiters, I'm not familiar with the email. I will follow up with Dr. Johnson after.
Stop running for the board. It's your obligation to answer them.
That concludes our meeting. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
I need a second.
All in favor, say aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Meeting
Motion
adjourned.
and board is over.
Meeting adjourned. Thank you.